Jannik Sinner looks like the player to beat at the Australian Open. He demolishes Alex De Minaur in straight sets and looking as good as ever. And in the other quarterfinal, Ben Shelton defeats the serve bot Sonego, and he's into his second semi-final, the first in Australia. We're going to be speaking about their matches and a look to the women's semi-final matchup.
That's right, the quarterfinals have now finished and we're on to the semi-final stage. We're here to look back over the day's action. Jannik Sinner, he was the impressive man on this day and he destroyed Alex De Minaur. It was a severe beating in front of your whole home faithful crowd that weren't even able to get any chance going really during the match because it was so dominant. And there's been a bit of back and forth on Twitter with Pavi G and Alex De Minaur. And we've had, obviously, Ben Shelton. He is now going to be facing Jannik Sinner in the semi-final. And we've got the women too. Iga looking as dominant as ever. That's not stopping. Can Madison Keys get any closer? What do you reckon?
Yeah, a lot to discuss. But I want to start with Novak Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz. And not the match, just the podcast we did. Shout out to everyone who watched it. It was great to see so many people commenting and giving their thoughts. And one thing I noticed is 58% of people who watched that episode are not subscribed to the channel. So you know who you are. Hit that subscribe button. There's a lot of people watching us right now who aren't subscribed. Please help us out. It's free to do so. And we're going to be here for not just the slams, all of the tennis calendar left. And yeah, we'll keep up with the podcast. Thanks for the support. Back to the action you've just mentioned. Jannik Sinner is the big story. I felt sorry for De Minaur. He's now lost 10 times to him. And I don't know where he goes from here. In the sense that if he wants to win the big tournaments, he's going to have to start beating Alcaraz and Sinner. And if he's unable to do that, it's going to be tough. You've got to beat Jannik Sinner, it seems, like in a hard court slam these days, because that's how good he is. And I don't think De Minaur did too much wrong. He just doesn't have the power. Lost 6-3, 6-2, 6-1. It was the easiest match of the event so far to for Jannik Sinner. And of course, you mentioned Pavi G, but it's not just him. There's a lot of other people on social media criticising De Minaur. I think it's totally unwarranted. We just need to respect the level of Jannik Sinner. This guy could go and beat everyone easily. He's that good. And I don't want to put my foot in it again with Novak Djokovic. I think I might have learnt from that lesson that if that is the final, I think it's going to be a fantastic match. But Sinner right now, you'd have to say, is the favourite. And I don't think that's crazy to suggest.
No, I mean, he's the hard court king at the moment. He's beaten Djokovic on multiple occasions now. De Minaur, though, we've got to speak about it. I mean, he's going to be severely disappointed. Jannik Sinner was impeccable, though, in this match. There's nothing really that De Minaur can bring to the table at the moment in his career which can affect the match. That's the problem with Alex De Minaur, unfortunately. I mean, I thought Alex De Minaur was good. He's consistent. But that's not enough. You have to be very aggressive against Jannik Sinner to win enough points to break Jannik Sinner is a difficult task enough with big weapons. Without them, it's nearly impossible. That's why the scoreline today, he just made it look like a simple task on court. And an early break in every set is a terrible thing to have if you're Alex De Minaur. It's an uphill struggle because he couldn't even get close to breaking Sinner. And it's unfortunate because I really like Alex De Minaur. I think he's so good against a lot of other players on the tour. It's just Jannik Sinner is just a nightmare matchup for him because his speed means nothing against him. You need power as well.
Yeah, I really liked the post-match interview on court with Jim Courier where he was asking Sinner to entertain the crowd. Because it was so quick, they had so much more time. And Sinner was saying, I can't entertain you anymore. He doesn't have anything left. They was asking for predictions. He wouldn't predict Djokovic-Zverev. And for his match against Shelton, he just gave a lot of respect to Shelton. But surely he's got to be looking at that thinking, if you compare the draw he's had to what Alcaraz or Djokovic has had on that side, it's a lot easier. Medvedev went out. We didn't expect it. He's a tough match. But on paper, no offence to Sonego and Shelton, but it's easier. It's an easier matchup. So Sinner has had the luck of the draw in that regard. Still got to beat who's in front of him. And I do think Ben Shelton will be harder than people give him credit for. This Ben Shelton looks very hungry. And he's got a bit of a bee in his bonnet as well, because a big talking point was in the interview after the match. And he was talking about on-court interviewing. So it sort of ties into what I was saying with Sinner. And he was very critical of the broadcasting at the Australian Open.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hot topic, isn't it, at the moment, with obviously the stuff that was happening with Djokovic that he did touch on as well. And he just says that there's a level of disrespect, and it's across a lot of tennis players. And he's witnessed it on multiple occasions now where he feels that they're there and they are the players of the tournament, so they should be respected and treated in a nice way and maybe ask questions in a nice way, not being made fun of or being the butt of a joke or that type of thing when you're literally meeting someone for the first time, he said. He said, I've never spoke to this person before, and then they're making a joke at my expense in front of a whole crowd of people. He said, this is not really respectful to someone who's just won a tennis match, and this is a big moment in my career. And I totally agree with him. I think you have to have a bit of respect. He doesn't have a rapport with some guy he just met for the first time. If it was someone like Djokovic and Courier, they've probably spoken about 1,000 times. He could probably give him a little bit of ribbon and they'd understand. With Shelton, he's fresh on the tour. These people, he's never met them before. He hasn't built any rapport with anybody yet. So you can't just come straight out and start taking the piss out of him in front of everybody after he's just won a match. So I understand where he's coming from, and I like the fact that he's brave enough to speak out about it as well. So I think that's a good sign from Ben Shelton too.
Yeah, I think the comments in question was the ones for him where they were saying about Gal Monfils could be his dad. And he was saying, what is this, a black joke? And there was a bit of back and forth. He
said, maybe he is your dad or something. Yeah, what?
Yeah, and he was a bit uncomfortable. You could see it. And clearly afterwards he said it. He said it's not just this situation. On the Djokovic one, he's seen it with loads of other players, this tournament.
Yeah.
And he thinks the broadcasting. And in Australia, on the court, some of the questions, if someone's just won a match, they should be a little bit more respectful. They're trying to grow the sport. We're trying to put these people on the pedestal. Why is there people trying to sort of tear them down? Maybe the comments, what were said about Monfils, they weren't that bad from what I've seen. I don't think it was meant in a malicious way. I just think the broadcasters need to be a little bit more careful. We often say the wrong thing on here, especially you. I mean, every episode you say a clanger, but we're not held to the same standard as the broadcasters. They need to be even more careful. And I guess we still are, because we get loads of comments come through and everyone will attack us if we do say something which they don't feel is right, and rightfully so. It's a free world with freedom of choice and freedom of speech.
Yeah, and you should be allowed to make a correction if you get things wrong, and you come back and you address it. And then people are like, thank you for addressing the things you did wrong. You don't vilify someone for doing it and then you never see them again, because that's cancel culture that we don't want to have. So as long as people can learn from their mistakes and then they can improve, I'm sure him speaking out about it will help everyone improve. Same as Djokovic as well. But I don't want this to overshadow what was a really great tournament and performance for Ben Shelton. The fact that he went through in 4 sets against Sonego. Yeah, Sonego, fantastic. First ever quarterfinal. Shelton, I mean, he's still on the up. He's still learning. He's still improving. And you can see just more dominant. Like, he's a big, powerful, young guy. And he's able to dominate some of these rallies just with his 1-2 punches. Very, very convincing when he does win a rally. And I like his energy. I think he's one of the only players you could have put in there with Sinner, where I think he's going to get the crowd going and maybe going for him, hopefully. And he's actually beaten Sinner before, which a lot of the others maybe don't have on their side either.
We've seen some fantastic shot making from Sinner, Alcaraz and Djokovic. But you could maybe argue Sonego has two of the best shots of the whole tournament. We saw one the other day, and this one last night was amazing as well. I'm not sure if you saw it, but he hits a brilliant diving, spinning backhand volley, and it rolls, so it bounces his net and then rolls into the net. So it's an impossible ball to get, almost come all the way back, and he dived and hit this brilliant volley. A fantastic shot from Sonego, and that's not the first time. He's done another one, a very different incident, but a great shot as well. I forget who he was playing, but in a few rounds before. So very encouraging for someone like Sonego, who we've seen on tour for a few years now. He is up and down, but the peaks from him are very high. And I don't know if you know about his music career as well, but the song he's got on Spotify at the moment is flying. It's got well over 1 million streams. And seems to be quite popular in Italy.
That's really good. I like it when people have just another creative side, something they do outside the sport, especially if it's good as well. And if you're creative, and obviously the nearest comparison everyone's going to look to in this is going to be Chapo, and they're going to say, well, that's not quite as good. But I think Sonego, I really think he should keep embracing that, because it's a good thing to always have to take your mind off the tennis in your off time as well. You've got another passion that you really like. I'm all for it. I like it. He should come out to his own songs, I think, onto the court. That would be even better.
Is he allowed?
I don't know. Maybe he should get a little in the contract. Pop it in there. Some tournaments probably allow it.
Let's move on to the women. So they had some quarterfinals as well. It was Madison Keys defeating Svitolina in 3 sets, and Iga winning again in straight sets. And it was another baked good for Iga, 6-1, 6-2. You had a lot of things to say before we were live. So do you want to say them now about Iga?
About Iga? I
mean, you were saying about her draw and how ridiculous it is, and all this talk off stream to me, because I've picked Iga. So I want to see what do you have to say while we're live on air
about her draw?
About Iga in general.
She can only beat who's been put in front of her, and she's absolutely pulverising everybody. I think she's been tested yet? No. Does that mean that she's playing badly? No. It means she's playing well, and well enough to destroy who's in front of her.
Would you say Navarro's a test?
Should have been. I mean, but I think it just goes to show she's back to that level again, where the only people who can compete with her are Rybakina and Sabalenka. And these are the only two people on tour that you'd probably look at and think they can probably go to... I don't know. Not the one in this tournament this year, unfortunately. I feel that she lost to Badosa, and she hit about 41 unforced errors in that match. So that one wouldn't do very well against Iga. And that one we've seen get absolutely trounced by Iga before. The other Coco, better. But Saba's the real threat. I mean, we look like we're heading towards the 1-2 on the women's side. And everybody probably wants that, bar the fans of the other competitors, the Badosas and the Madison Keys. I think that we have to have it. That's my opinion, because I want to see it. If Iga's playing like this, Saba's so good in Australia, like, could this be Iga's time? Maybe you've picked a golden.
Yeah, so Iga at the Australian Open so far, round 1, 1 hour 20, round 2, 1 hour on the dot, round 3, 1 hour 10, round 4, 59 minutes. This was the longest match, 1 hour 29, but it's still a 6-1, 6-2. So she's hardly played any tennis at Australian Open, blitzed everyone out the park. But this upcoming semi-final, you'd have to think, should be a lot tougher against the in-form Madison Keys. We'll speak about how she got there in a second, but just sticking to Iga, the big controversy and what everyone's talking about right now is the double bounce. So I don't know if you've got any tweets for that, but it's a good place to go to next, because there's a lot of calls for some better officiating here. It's difficult in real time. Tennis is played so fast, but we've got all the cameras, we've got all the technology. Why can't they utilise some kind of VAR in tennis? And there's people saying they thought that it has been implemented because for some tournaments ago we had it, right?
Yeah.
So is it not the slams? Is it? I'm very confused on what the rules are. But one thing I do know, it was a very, very clear double bounce. It's not the first time it's happened with Iga. Do I think she should own up in real time? No. I don't think she should have to.
Not her job.
Her job's to play the game, not to officiate it. Out of respect, she could have, but that's up to her. I'm not going to really call her out for that. The opponent wasn't sure either, but it's as clear as day when you see the video.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, isn't it? And the fact that the umpire's right there, you'd think that they'd spot it themselves. And then if not, they have the replays. Like, it's right there at a fingertip. You can just see a replay. We get it on TV within half a second of it happening and the point being over. So that's all they need. Literally, quick one on their little screen. Boom. Oh, yeah, double bounce. Point over. There you go.
Do you think she should own up?
No, that's not up to her. She's not scoring the match.
Okay. I agree. Yeah.
It's up. It's entirely. This is a quarterfinal of a slam. If you're going to ask the players to start scoring the match now, then what are we doing? Why do we have
not a good
officials?
look for tennis, then, is it? That we're having a quarterfinal of a Grand Slam on the biggest stage, big decisions not being correct because they're unable.
Big moment as well
to do that. And of course it is, and it is frustrating. And seems like a lot of sports are up to date with technology. We see it across all of them now, but tennis, I think, can still learn a few things.
Why can't? What question to you? Why can't technology? Obviously, we got rid of the line judges. That works perfectly. No one can. They can request a replay. Why is there not a machine like the net cord when it clips and it goes straight away? Why is there not one that's just monitoring the ball and it can just watch it bounce once and watch it touch the ground again? Then it just goes double bounce. There you go, done. Easy.
I think it's harder to do, but all you need is a slow-mo camera.
So.
A slow-mo camera, you can't really go wrong. No, they've got that, Ben, and we were doing it in previous tournaments. I don't know if you remember. It just
ridiculous.
seems like
Why don't they just
I'm not sure. There's no
use it?
consistency.
We're in a slam. This match is worth God knows how much. $500,000, something like that, to someone's purse at the end of the day. And if you're going to allow terrible decisions to creep in, then players are just going to be like thinking, like, what is this sport? This is not a well-regulated sport at all. Bad look for tennis. Jose Morgado's put that out as well. I don't think you can call Iga a cheat. I don't think that's a very good thing that people are just trying to insinuate that she should be owning up to it. I don't think it's her place. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, Madison Keys. You spoke yesterday how she's moved to Yonex. Her coach, is it coach, boyfriend, Bjorn Fratangelo, has been very supportive of her. She's looking good, and she lost that first set, had to show that grit and determination. The courts, I think, are a bit faster than previous times when she's played Iga, and she struggles. She said, if it's a slower court, Iga's going to blitz me because she's better in them conditions. But this could be a good one. I think it could be a big challenge for Iga because she is someone who can hit through the ball, and when she's finding her angles on the court, she can beat anyone. So I'm really excited to see how she gets on. This is her 7th career Grand Slam semi-final, but she wants her 2nd final. Only been to one in US Open 2017. What do you think? Can she make another final? Can she beat Iga?
Super dangerous. I mean, it's a real big ask to beat Iga, especially with her record against Iga, which is, I don't think she ever won a set against her. Yeah, 5. Oh, no, she has. She beat her in Cincinnati. Apologies. Yeah. So she won one match in Cincinnati, lost the one in Indian Wells. It was a straight set Cincinnati. The last 2 times they played, I don't know. Can you look into clay court matches? This is a completely different type of surface. I like her chance. I think this is probably her best chance of beating Iga, but the way Iga's playing at the moment, she doesn't look like she's taking any prisoners and giving no opportunities to actually get your game going. Like, you're already a set down and then you're like in panic mode almost. That's what it looks like. Every player this tournament finds themselves one set down and they're like, oh, what? We only just started. And then it's like panic station second set, and then they don't know what to do, and then they get like the match is over. So we needed to hold serve like 2 or 3 times first set. If she can do that, we've got a match on our hands.
A match can run away with you when you play Iga, and before you know it, you're down like a double break in the second set. You're like, what just happened? But before we give our semi-final predictions, we'll obviously talk about Badoza and Sabalenka as well. There is something I want to speak about, and we've not spoken about it yet, or today at the Australian Open, and that is the women's doubles. I don't know if you've been following it, but there's some fantastic stories going on, and one I absolutely adore. 2 of my favourite players on the tour, 2 young Russians. They've made it all the way to the semi-final. They beat Rakhimova and Saliba's Tormo the other day, and it was 6-3, 6-love.
Wow.
And there was a really nice touching video. I don't know if you've seen it on social media with Andreeva and Snyder. Both compliment each other's hair and what they like about each other. I didn't realise how nice Diana Snyder is. She is like another Andreeva. They've got so much personality. And they're a pair I really want to cheer on every single round. Their next match in the semi-final is against the number 1 seed. So Siniakova, of course. She's not there with Krachikova, but she's got Taylor Townsend, another great doubles player. And then they are the number 1 seed. That is a tough test. But I am willing Mira Andreeva and Snyder to win. They said why they're playing doubles together, a lot of the time, doubles they can have more fun. So they relax. It's not so intense as singles. So what they're doing is they're whispering about like cute guys in the crowd and different people who they see. They're so much personality. And I'm really willing them to do well. So go check out the interview they did. It's really funny. And also, let's go do it. Come on, I'm supporting them. I think this is part of it.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, for sure.
Play maybe 5 seconds so you can get a little vibe. I think we'll get away with
It was
5 seconds.
good.
Well, what are they saying?
Doubles. In Brisbane, we decided why not, and it was great.
First tournament of the year.
Yeah, so it was.
I don't know. If you don't want to get pulled off a few.
Yeah, we might get in trouble. But go check out the video. It is good. Can they beat Siniakova, Ben?
I think so.
Townsend.
I think if you're having fun in doubles, Nick Kyrgios has proved that goes a long way, and you can win a slam. So if he can do it, these girls, why not? They're 2.
Well, bearing in mind, these are 2 players we've got in our top 10.
High level players coming from singles to doubles. I love it. I'm all for it. And if they win one of them, it might give them even more confidence to go on in the singles slams as well.
Yeah, one of my favourite stories of the Australian Open. We'll speak about how they get on the next podcast. But let's go to the semi-final predictions. So, Sabalenka, Badoza. We've not really done much on this one, but Badoza's been so good. We joked that she could beat Tsitsipas the other day. I don't think she could, but still is looking some of the best we've seen of her. These 2 are great friends. Is that going to influence the outcome of the match? I don't think so. And for that reason, Ben, I'm going to be having Sabalenka winning this one in straight sets.
Wow. I think that she's had the better of her over the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 meetings. So you would think that she's probably going to do a bit better. But Paula Badoza did defeat her in the first 2 ever meetings on hard courts, though. And she's playing back to sort of her best. I don't think it's
there's
enough,
always a
though.
first time for something, though, Ben. This is the first time I get into a semi-final.
Yeah, records are sort of there to be broken, unless it's Gael Monfils playing Djokovic. But or Alex De Minaur playing Sinner, but maybe that will change at some point. That's
you playing me?
Yeah, probably it's up there. I think it's a similar record to Monfils, to be honest, but maybe worse. We've got. I think Badoza's going to take a set, but I think Sabalenka will win in 3.
Okay, so over to the other semi-final. I'll let you go first on this one.
I mean, you'd think it could only be one result based upon the way the tournament's gone so far.
Okay, will there be a bagel or a breadstick? You want to say yes, don't you?
No. It seems like the other side. I'm going to go no. I think it's going to be like a 3 and a 2.
Oh, really? No, I don't see that at all. So you've gone for Iga and straights. I actually think it's going to be 3 sets. I think Keys will take a set.
Wow.
You know how much I like Alison Keys. I've always
do.
picked her to go far in tournaments. She's always on the fringes of my top 10, but I never quite make the plunge and put her in there. She is in the top 10 right now, I think. I think she's 10th in the live rankings.
Wow.
So I am going to be having her. I'm having her winning a set, and I'm going to go Iga in 3, but Keys to take the second set, and it's going to be a really interesting third.
Okay, we'll come back and check out those predictions once the semi-finals are over. We'll give some men's semi-final predictions in another video coming up very, very soon, so keep your eyes peeled on the channel. Do we want to go through the other predictions that we did and see how we got on?
No, I don't think we need to. I think we're going to save it. We're going to save it for the next one when we speak about the men's. I'm hoping that the turtleneck is not going to bring me more bad luck, because predictions in a turtleneck usually ends in a video Ben's going to make about me. I've just done some more in a turtleneck, so I'm a little bit worried, to say the least. But hopefully I've done a bit better in some of these women's ones. I think it's relatively safe to suggest that Sabalenka and Iga will be in the final. But let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. And if you haven't already, hit the like button and subscribe. We're missing out because there's not many of you watching who are subscribed.
Yeah, come on, make sure to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. We would be very, very grateful.
Thanks for watching, and see you for my big prediction on Zverev Djokovic. You don't want to miss it.